Brad Reback, who's a technology analyst at Oppenheimer. He's got an outperform rating on Microsoft, and he's joining us from Atlanta. So you heard what Ballmer had to say about Windows 7 here. I was interested in his comments about corporations in particular, and that the rollout there might be slower. Is this going to be an obstacle for Microsoft at all?
You know, Julie, we actually think the rollout may be a bit faster than he's been talking about. Clearly, Steve has a very pessimistic view of the economy right now. We're a little more optimistic. And anecdotally, a lot of the CIOs we've been talking to here recently are talking about moving to Windows 7 in the first half of 2010, well before the first service pack is released, which is traditionally, usually the yard marker CIOs wait for.
Now, Windows 7 has been getting a lot of good reviews. A lot of it in comparison to Microsoft's past product, just because there have been a lot of issues. If you look at Windows 7 alone, do you think it is going to be strong enough to really push Microsoft forward?
I do. I've been using the product myself for the last 6 months or so. It's a dramatic improvement over Vista. It's a step up from XP. It really makes the home networking experience a lot easier. It's a much easier environment to work in from a corporate side. So I do think just on a standalone basis, this is a very strong product.
Brad, as Julie just intimated, there were some complaints in the past, namely about Vista a couple of years ago. Does this now with Windows 7, does that signal a victory lap for the Windows product?
I wouldn't call it a victory lap. There's still a lot of work to be done, to your point before. Apple continues to gain some marginal share here, and I don't think work is ever done on the Windows product, but there's no doubt they've moved it forward dramatically. You have the PC makers who've been involved here from the beginning, much more supportive of this product, so I do think it will show very quickly in sales here, especially in the consumer side.
Brad, kind of lost in the shuffle here is the fact that we're actually going to get earnings numbers from Microsoft. Oh, what about those? Do you think that people are just not focusing on it that much? They're looking past it to the next quarter where you are going to get the effect of the sales that you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. As we saw in the June quarter, Microsoft didn't partake like some of the chip guys, Intel did, from strong uptake in places like China. It's going to be the same sort of situation this quarter, where Intel printed a very strong number last week, and Microsoft's numbers will be more moderate because of where those units are being sold. But to your point, I do think starting in the December quarter, we'll see a very nice acceleration in the PC business for Microsoft.
Can you give us any specific numbers on your estimates for Windows 7 and how much that's going to contribute to earnings and to sales?
Well, I think incrementally you're going to get two things very positive from Windows 7. You're going to get a rising average selling price, as it's going to sell for a higher price than XP, especially on things like netbooks. And I do think you're going to get a replacement cycle. So you're going to get increase in units, an increase in pricing, which could lead to several $1 billion of incremental Windows revenue here.
Brad, we have about 30 seconds left. As Mr. Ballmer intimated to us, Microsoft unveils Windows 7 with a tremendous amount of leverage. Can Microsoft remain disciplined on the expense side?
Well, that's the $64,000 question, and yeah, I think they can. I think philosophically the strategy has changed here dramatically. Controlling costs is of high importance, and not undertaking science projects is a big part of that strategy going forward.
Brad Reback of Oppenheimer Co. joining us this afternoon from Atlanta. Brad, thanks so much.